A two-day conference titled AI, Science and Society was recently held at the Institut Polytechnique de Paris as part of the AI Action Summit. Some of the world's top AI researchers attended this event. One of the speakers at this conference was the AI pioneer and Turing Award winner Yoshua Bengio. I spoke to Mr. Bengio and started by asking him about the current trajectory of the development of AI and whether we should be alarmed by it.
I think it's very important to think about the trajectory looking back in the last few years, the last few decades. The improvement in capabilities of AI is tremendous. And we don't know what the future holds, but it's very plausible that it will continue to improve in capabilities. Now, this could be extremely beneficial, but also at the same time very dangerous because that power, that intelligence can be used, for example, by malicious people against democracies, against infrastructure, to do disinformation. There's also the possibility, if these systems become smarter than us, that they could turn against us because we don't know how to control them. And recent experiments show that they don't want to be shut down. They want to preserve themselves. And right now, well, we're smarter, but it may not always be the case.
Could you provide some highlights of the International AI Safety Report?
I've chaired an international scientific report which has been inspired by the IPCC for climate change, so bringing a panel of experts from many countries and the UN and about 100 experts covering all the aspects of risks of AI and mitigation, also analyzing the trends in capabilities. The idea was to synthesize the existing science as to help policymakers take decisions, not making any recommendations, but to help establish what are the facts, what is the consensus, what are the areas where there's a lot of uncertainty, so that we can collectively take better decisions about our future. And in particular, governments need to think about how to steer the development of AI in directions that are going to be good for society and reducing the risks and the harms.
How can governments or governance and regulations play a role to ensure that the risks of AI are mitigated?
So the general idea of regulation in many areas is simply that the companies which build a product need to make sure that it's going to be safe, that it's not going to harm people. And we have that in areas like, transportation and chemicals and so on, and food even, but we don't have it in software, and we don't have it in AI. But AI is now transforming the world. It's becoming more and more powerful. That means it can be both beneficial and dangerous. And we need to have rules. We need to make sure that companies have the right incentives to also work on safety and not just on capability. So if they have to show to the public through transparency of their risk management practice that their systems are safe, that will provide a very strong incentive for them to behave well. Also, if they are liable in front of courts for the harm that they could cause, then they will have a good incentive to behave well. So these are things where governments can intervene with very little effort in order to provide the right nudge for companies to behave in a way that's better aligned with our values, our needs, and our safety.
And finally, for an issue like climate change, AI can play an important role, but it is also a part of the problem. How do we get out of this conundrum?
Yes, actually, I have a lot of people in my group working on the development of AI to help develop new materials to help with climate change. At the same time, the kind of models that the large companies are developing, which are very different, use more and more electricity. In fact, this is going to push the price of electricity up in the coming years. And so I think the answer to your question is, where do we direct the efforts in AI? Do we direct them in areas that people need, like healthcare, fighting climate change, or do we just follow the forces of markets and allow very profitable business to push the price of energy up and to create a lot of pollution with new fossil fuels being used because there's not enough renewable energy for the new demand.